Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Spikes back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you can donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3@gmail.com on PayPal. Or otherwise you can look me up on X, TikTok and YouTube, but especially on YouTube where you can like and subscribe there so you can see the videos that get banned in other places. And plus you can look me up on my created playlists. Israel youth highly motivated to serve in the Israeli Defense Forces but lack trust in leadership, new survey finds. A new survey of Israeli teenagers found that 77% are highly motivated to serve in the Israeli Defense Forces, with 57% saying they would like to serve in a combat unit. At the same time, only 30 said that they have high levels of trust in senior Israeli Defense Forces leadership. The survey published this week by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF, highlights the striking contrast between Israel's youth willingness to serve in the military and their confidence in the senior officers who lead it. The IDSF, an organisation of retired senior officials from the IDF, Mossad, and Israel's security agency Shin Bet, and the police conducts research and analysis for decision makers, the Defence Ministry, and the general public. Among those surveyed, 40% said they prefer to serve in the infantry, while 14% expressed a preference for the Armed Corps. Others said that they would like to serve in a border police, Air Force, and Education and Youth Corps. The Home Front Command was among the least popular choices. The survey also found that 75% of respondents believe Israel should retain its traditional model of mandatory military conscription, while 60% agreed with describing the IDF as a victorious army. However, confidence in the military senior leadership was considerably lower. Only 30% of those surveyed said that they had high levels of trust in senior IDF leadership, while 41% said they had low or very low levels of trust in the generals and admirals. A long-time IDF reservist who has fought in several wars, beginning with the Second Lebanon War in 2006, and including multiple rounds of conflict in Gaza and elsewhere. He told this on permission of anonymity that he understands the tension between the high level of motivation to serve and the low level of trust in the leadership, but he chalks this up to inexperience. After now serving more than 1,030 days in the current Swords of Iron War, I have seen many different situations on the ground, he said. Some decisions make perfect sense in the moment. Others, when you look back later, can see things differently. Hindsight is always 20/20, but a real soldier cannot live in hindsight while the situation is unfolding. The reservists acknowledged that soldiers may not always understand or agree with their commanders' decisions, but said maintaining trust in the chain of command is essential to the functioning of any army. A commander can be wrong. Every commander is human, he said, but there is still something absolutely essential in an army. You have to trust the chain of command and honour that rank. He added that such trust should not prevent soldiers from thinking critically, learning from mistakes, or asking difficult questions. Trust does not mean that we stop thinking, learning, or asking difficult questions. For the reservists, however, the survey findings about how low the trust in the senior leadership was do not necessarily reflect a loss in faith in the IDF itself. Instead, he said many soldiers remain confident in what the military and its troops are capable of accomplishing, but are frustrated by what they perceive as a lack of decisive progress. For many of us serving, I think the greatest frustration is not that we have lost faith in the IDF, quite the opposite. We know what our soldiers are capable of, he said. The frustration is often that we do not feel we are moving forward decisively enough. He added the frustration can sometimes leave soldiers feeling that the military is simply managing the conflict rather than moving toward a clear conclusion. Sometimes it feels like we are crawling forward, holding positions, and managing the conflict when many soldiers instinctively want to see a clear, broader drive toward victory and finish what needs to be finished. The reservists acknowledge that there will always be disagreements over military strategy and the appropriate balance between military action and diplomacy. There will always be different strategic approaches. There will always be debates about timing, pressure, restraint, diplomacy, and military necessity. But ultimately, we must remain one army and one people. Despite the concerns reflected in the survey, Srve said it finds ultimately gives him reason for optimism about Israel's younger generation. We can demand accountability without destroying trust, he said. He pointed to the high level of willingness among Israeli teenagers to serve, particularly in combat roles, as evidence that the next generation has not lost its commitment to the IDF. The survey gives me tremendous hope. Israel's next generation has not lost its willingness to serve. In fact, the desire for combat service is reportedly at its highest level in a decade, he said. The challenge, he said, is to preserve that motivation while rebuilding trust in military leadership. Our responsibility is now to preserve that courage, strengthen trust, learn from mistakes, honour those carrying responsibility, and remain united in pursuing something Israelis desperately need to see. And may we all remember the service of the IDF and what they have went through since October 7th. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.